Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us on this week's edition of Viewpoint on Dbs Television. Hope that you had a splendid Merry Christmas over the weekend, because it was very busy and stress-free, hopefully, to all of you watching us at this particular moment, and hope that you are still in that festive mood to end the year with it. That is the new year coming up still. But that said, Viewpoint is back again to discuss about issues concerning Cameroon as a whole, and Africa and the world. And in tonight's edition, we are going to be seeing how CONAC so far has been able to tackle the issue of corruption in Cameroon. Once more, we are happy to have with us Kimbang Vitalis, a civil society activist. Whenever opportunity comes up, he's always there to take part in the show, and he will be accompanied by Mange Venashus, or we will be accompanied by Mange Venashus for the week as usual. Good evening to you, Mr. Kimbang, and thank you very much for coming.
Good evening, Vanessa. Good evening, televiewers. It's my pleasure to be here once more. I want to say Happy New Year in advance to all our listeners. To all our listeners. So your observation for this Christmas, given that it was celebrated within the context of the coronavirus pandemic? Well, the only thing is that once we are alive and we are kicking, then we should give thanks to God, no matter the difficulties we went through.
No matter the difficulties. Anyway, thank you very much. Mange Venashus, Happy New Year in advance.
Same to you, Vanessa. Barely 3 days to go, and we would be moving out of this, I would call it a dreaded year, because 2020 would enter into archives of history in 3 days' time as one of the worst years in living memory. So if we are already today Monday, and we're talking about practically 3 days to the end of the year, when this year began, one Chinese businessman said it is a year that we should not look at what we would gain, but we should look at it as a year that we should struggle to be alive. And I think that if up till today we are still alive, it is not out of merit.
Exactly.
It is not out of strength. It is by divine providence that we are still alive today, and we only pray together with our viewers that we all cross over from this dreadful year 2020 to perhaps peaceful 2021. It will be a wish for our viewers, who I'm wishing them Happy New Year in advance, a year that should be new in all aspects. New in everything.
And like you rightly said, this year I felt more of being more than a conqueror.
Of course.
With all the challenges,
it has been a very
challenging one.
And frightening year, because none of us knew that we were going to be alive today. So being alive is a great joy, and we hope that 2021 is going to be more better than 2020.
Than 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have the first part of the show. "10 years of existence has CONAC lived up to its expectations?" Kimba Vitali, so begin with you.
Capital no.
Capital no. Mange Venashus, do you feel?
Vanessa.
No, it hasn't. And can CONAC solve the problem of corruption in Cameroon? Mange Venashus. Let me get the point of Mange Venashus.
Yes, Vanessa, it can.
Yes, it can. Kimbang, you really?
No, it cannot.
No, it cannot. Let us have the debate. If you are just tuning in, you're watching Viewpoint on Dbs Television. 10 years of existence has CONAC, that is the Anti-Corruption Commission in Cameroon, lived up to its expectations? Kimba Vitalis, you think that no, this commission has not lived up to it?
Yes, Vanessa, you know, CONAC was created on March 11, 2006. And when you look at Cameroon today, decades after, you will discover that there is no change. The only achievement that CONAC has achieved is that he has successfully sent many of our ex-ministers to Kondenge. And when we go around our offices, we still see that corruption is ripped at all levels, economically, politically, socially, and in all aspects. You know, the issue of corruption is something that a commission cannot tackle it. It's a psychological problem, and the problem can only be solved by us Cameroonians, because corruption is something that, you know, when you look at each and every child in Cameroon today, people already have the idea that you cannot have something in this country by merit. Even in school, people know that when a competitive exam is launched, it is very often you hear people say, you want to go and write like that, do you have connection? Or how do you expect to pass? Meaning that people have already kept in their minds that you cannot succeed in this country when you are not connected. So when you look at the activities of CONAC, we want to stamp out CONAC from our society. It means that we have to create CONAC in each and every office in Cameroon, then, which is very, very impossible. And I want to believe that the other day I was reading the version of CONAC in Nigeria, the EFCC in Nigeria, where members of the EFCC were arrested for corruption. I want to believe that corruption is something that is inborn. It's something that we have taken it as something that is very normal in Cameroon. Because when you move around when we travel, it is like very official that we don't have an ID card. You give a policeman 1,000 francs, or sometimes they take 2,000, sometimes they take 3,000. And it's normal. And it's not the policeman asking you. You just know that once I don't have this thing,
I should prepare.
I should prepare. Yeah, because when you travel in a vehicle, you hear people ask, do you have an ID card? You say no. Are you prepared? Prepare in what? To go and corrupt a policeman. And that is what has been happening. Then you go to our offices. You go and submit a document for somebody to sign. That person behaves as if he has not seen any document. But once money exchange hands, you come the next day, your document is signed. Then there are some people that when you meet, I work in an office where people, maybe they come to me for services. When these people, when they see you in an off license, what do you do? Sir, will you eat meat? Will you drink? Will you those are already signs of bribe, so that whenever they come to your office, they expect that you treat them first. So it is something that... It's
not a way of showing that they know you maybe somewhere.
And why should they only know me when they know other people? Why they do they gesture to other people? Then you know, when they go to politics, we know that when they say campaign, it is when we expect favors from politicians. You say, no, this is campaign. And we expect that we will chop our own, we will eat our own. So it is like you are already expecting bribe from the politicians that come and give our own.
Your vote will depend on...
very good. Your vote will depend
on the best bidder.
On the best bidder. You say, no, this man is very crafty. We cannot vote for him. This man is very this. We cannot vote for him. So it's like...
And this one is generous.
Generous means that what? You come to your village and you spray money. That is generosity. You give out money. But the thing that people don't look at the long-term effect of what they are doing. Yes. But when people come... Because I know, if you can construct a very good bridge in the village, you construct schools. But when it comes to campaign period, if you don't give money, they will not even look at those permanent things. They're looking at, this man is very stingy. When it comes to that, he chops his money alone. So you discover that the CONAC has a very, very difficult tax. And for the past years that CONAC has been existing, they have not taken solid actions that can deter people. For example, somebody steals 30 billion. You go and put him in sale, and you don't recover the money from him. What are you telling the other people? For example, there's an age that if there's an age that if I reach that age, and I take such money, and you go and lock me up, I know that my children will enjoy. I will not even bother. You understand now? So the main thing that CONAC would have been recovering those money and letting us know that this is money that was recovered and has been invested in this project. So when money is, when we just hear that people have been audited and they have been sent to Konegi, yes, what next? What next? And there are some aspect that I want to believe that not everybody, because CONAC can be even more corrupt than the corruption itself. Because for example, if they send you from Yaoundé to come out, or if I'm sent from Yaoundé to come and audit you, and discover that you have a defect, You can give my envelope. Then the audit will. I will validate it. It was okay.
It was okay.
Yes.
All right.
So we need a change of mind, a change of mentality to stop corruption, because we force people into corruption, and it's very clear. You go to people's office and you force them into corruption.
Anyway, and Cameroonians have been made to understand that for you to get a certain position in the society now, you need to.
Yes, and if you don't practice corruption, they'll ask you, now you want fix Cameroon, you want. And those type of things will be constantly coming up. As if, are you the one who is going to repair this country? We must start from the top.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimbang. Manga Venashu, so you equally think that 10 years of existence, the Anti-Corruption Commission has not lived up to its expectations?
Yes, Vanessa, I'll begin from the last aspect where Mr. Kimbang came in, where Mr. Kimbang rounded. He was saying that we need to change the kind of mentality. We need to reform our way of thinking so that we can talk of a society that may be free from corruption. We want to say that if we want to talk about corruption in the country, then we need to indicate that there are certain issues that we do in this country which are not normal. And since they are not normal, if we have to fight corruption, we have to start fighting corruption from there. When we talk about fighting corruption from there, I would want to say that look at the constitution of the commission itself. The commission was formed in Yaoundé, and it would appear that the commission is based in Yaoundé and remains only in Yaoundé, just like to say corruption is only in Yaoundé. And when when the commission is visiting regions, they come to the region once and they go away. When you come to the region, who do you come and meet? You come and meet me to ask me, am I corrupt? And I will tell you that I'm corrupt? No. Look, we should reform the commission. Let the commission, should be located practically in every council branch of Cameroon. Let's have the representatives or the branch of commission of CONAC from there. We will discover that in every aspect of the society, because for this commission to pretend that they can try to identify act of corruption in the country, it is not possible. How many of them are even there? Where are they from? When they leave, they only to come to Douala. How much of Douala do they know? When they come to Douala, they go to schools. And when they go to the school, who do they meet? The principal. And do you think that you ask the principal and he will tell you that I collected 2 million from parents? Do you think that the principal will tell you teachers were supposed to be paid? I paid them only 500,000 instead of the 2 million that I wrote in my report? It cannot be. But if we have to put this commission representatives in every council structure, just like we have a LECAM, it is possible that they can dig in deep into every sector of the society. Remember, this thing that we call corruption is an age-old practice that is even older than Cameroon. So Cameroon will not come up today and then form a commission of very few people and think that we're going to stamp it out. Mankind was practically formed on corruption. Mankind practically grew on corruption. And they will not come today and just think they will change it overnight. What we can do is we can reduce the rate of corruption. We can reduce it. And for 10 years that CONAC has been existing, CONAC has not succeeded in doing anything. When I read the report that was presented last December, around the second week of December, when they were celebrating their 10th anniversary in Yaoundé, when I read the report, CONAC was calling for other measures to help them to fight the pandemic. I call it the pandemic. The ills in our society, because they understood that they are not staffed, they are not equipped, you see, and for them to fight this, they need this. Legally even speaking, CONAC does not even have the capacity to arrest somebody. CONAC doesn't have it. CONAC just simply raised that no, it is possible that this man might have the first of misused state budget, state funds, and then they leave it to the special criminal court to carry out the arrest. CONAC should have been given the capability to discover flaws, issue arrest warrant, and take you directly. In that case, it would, like Mr. Kambang was saying, we need to carry out acts to deter others from moving into the same situation. When somebody is arrested for embezzling state funds in millions, in billions even, where do they keep the person? VIP prisoner. Some of them get married in prison. Some of them are in prison. Their businesses are running normally, more than even so. Some of them are even free than those of us who are free, because they have the money and they do what they want.
And the one thing is that there are some brigades and police stations where you go there, it is official that before they release you from there, you pay a bail bond of 50,000 francs and above.
Of course.
And there is no law showing that you should pay that such type of amount. Sometimes I begin to doubt whether because if we are just looking at they stole state funds, we could say, what about those who are committing corruption on us? Because I've had cases where you go to the brigade and the brigade commander tells you that before they release this person from here, he will give 50,000 francs, and that 50,000 francs goes directly to his pocket, and people know it. And once somebody is taking there, the person prepares his 50,000 francs and is going with it. So I think that for the past years that CONAC has worked. CONAC is just for me. We should preach, because even in schools, corruption is read from the nursery school. I have dealt in books for many years. Yes, and I'm sorry to say that we used to budget money for we call it motivation, and motivation is indirectly you are bribing the teachers, because once I come to a school and I give a motivation of 100,000 francs, and if another person comes and give 150, they call me, Mr. Kimbang, you have not treated me this year. How do I treat you well this year? And that what now? It boils down to
the fact that yes,
and at the end, they end up selecting books that are not even useful to the children. You don't need to scratch anything that you have written in a book, and you have money, and you go around and you give to teachers and they take your book. So if corruption is deep into the educational core, how do we expect to stamp it out? So everything, if we want to stamp out corruption, it must be from change of mentality.
All right.
If not,
gentlemen,
can work from
your point of view, I could deduce that corruption is is rooted in every institution in Cameroon.
It starts from the nursery school. Start from the nursery school. If you go to nursery school, you even see, okay, for example,
all right, let us take a second part of the show because we are running out of time. It's true that it's also a vast topic that we might take long to actually discuss about it. But then, can CONAC solve the problem of corruption in Cameroon? If we must have highlighted these root sectors where corruption is found, so how can we solve the situation? Vitalis, you have the opinion that we cannot. If we cannot, does it mean that we'll forever live with corruption in our society? No, don't do that.
This present CONAC cannot solve the problem. The present CONAC with its structures cannot solve the problem of corruption in this country. If we want to solve the problem of corruption in this country, we should come out with something else that is going to be more than CONAC. Because for the past 10 years, they have proven that they don't have the capability to solve corruption in this country. So I want to believe that if the head of state can come up with something that is, or maybe empower them the more, so that they can have the powers even to investigate, to arrest you at any point in time. Because I've seen in other countries where abrupt arrest is made on policemen on the road, but we cannot have that in Cameroon, because there are some people in Cameroon here that are demigods that we cannot tamper with them. So CONAC hands too are tied, because they too cannot carry out their work effectively, because they have limited rights over those who are corrupt. Limited right, limited resources, yes, limited staff and everything. Yes, because CONAC is in Yaoundé. Even that time that I've tried to call their number, you call, nobody will pick in the number. And even they pick, what would they do? Nothing. So it's as if it's just an organization that has been created that at the end of the year they bring out a budget and people sit on the budget too, and they corruptly eat the budgets. So, on my opinion, this present Cameroonian Anti-Corruption Commission cannot. Let's face it, cannot solve this problem. It cannot solve the problem in this country, because if it is that it can solve the problem in this country, corruption would have reduced from this country a little. But I want to tell you that it is only adding, because anybody, for example, now
You bribe to go to a school, and maybe your father borrowed huge sum of money and bribed you into a school. Before you leave that school, people who borrowed who gave your father that money, they're already on his neck. What will you do? You too, you are forced to corrupt so that you have more money and pay. That's why you see in Cameroon, a common custom will be constructing duplexes, story buildings, whereas somebody, a teacher from a higher earners, cannot even build a simple house. And all these things, we connect. They know it. Now, this issue of declaration of assets before you are giving a post, who does it in Cameroon? Nobody. Once you are appointed, you are appointed. And when you stay in power for just a few months or years, you amass wealth, and you go your way down. Some people that even amass the wealth and put it on the name of the children or their wives or their relatives. So it is practically very, very difficult with this present CONAC to solve the problem of corruption in this country.
Mangavina, should you think that CONAC will be able to solve the problem?
Yes, Vanessa. Has CONAC solved the problem is a different thing of can CONAC solve the problem? Can CONAC solve the problem? Yes. How? Because if we have CONAC, like I said in the first part, if CONAC could be able, to extend its tentacles. In fact, I just say that in every municipal council, there is a CONAC office. An office that is staffed. Just like we have the council branch of Elekam, if we have a council branch of CONAC in every municipality in Cameroon, we are moving towards a solution. 2, if CONAC is given the necessary logistics that they need to handle corruption in Cameroon, they can. Another problem is CONAC should not preach, the method. CONAC should revamp its methods of carrying out its findings. I don't think that it is normal. If you want to find out what I do in my family and you come and ask me, there is no way I can tell you that I am a bad father, I am a bad husband. You cannot go. Come sideline my child. Try to find out who I am from my child. If I'm a bad father, you have a direct, something closer to reality from my child. If I'm a bad husband, sideline my wife. Ask her. If I'm a bad husband, you have something closer to reality. When CONAC goes down to the field, and because I had the opportunity last year to trail CONAC here in Littoral, we had to move in some schools, in some enterprises here in Douala, and the process in which I experienced was not at all the best to me. In that way, we would keep on, because before coming,
we keep on preaching virtue and practicing vice.
Virtue and practicing vice, actually. Because before coming, the school, the authority knew that CONAC is coming. You find everything is in place. Order. Immediately you come, they receive you people very well in a well-comfortable office, and you sit. The chairman of the CONAC, Reverend Masgams, he talks with you. Hey, how is this going? Hey, how is this? A very convivial manner, and it ends, and he goes back. When he's taking you, somebody is taking the result, and at the end we establish a report. Which I think that does not reflect reality. CONAC can operate like undercover security agents. In that case, we would be able to stamp out. You should not know that you are being followed up. Because once you know that you are being followed up, you adopt a different posture. You adopt a different reality. In this country, Vanessa, we know when corrupt actions take place. For example, when concourse are launched. For example, when schools are about reopening. For example, during political party, all these kind of things. Those are the moments that we are able. Vanessa, I would want CONAC to give, they should give CONAC the opportunity to find out how each ministry used their budget for the year. Because you don't go and present a budget or the report of the year to parliamentarians within practically two days, 3 days late, and you ask them to study it, and you come and defend it. They will not. CONAC should be able to find out from each ministry, you were given 16 billion francs CFA. How did you use this 16 billion francs CFA? With facts. And these facts should not be, yes, we bought a car for 14 million. We bought this for 10 million. We bought this for 700,000. These are not evident. These are not facts. Get these facts, verify them. If we do that in this ministry, do that for this ministry, do that for this ministry, you find corruption dropping down. But in as much as a minister will go and stand in front of parliament, parliamentarians who are even tired, because you tell me that we spend the whole night listening to ministers. How many of them were talking and you were even getting what they were saying? How many parliamentarians even knew what ministers were even supposed to do? A minister will come and tell you, we start this road from this. You don't even know whether the road exists. And look at where those budgets are being examined in a commission restraint. They come, they are talking about, I'm a member of that commission, they are talking about Tokombere. I don't know anything in Tokombere. And that's why we have roads in this country that have been validated on book to have been tarred, and the roads never existed. So I think that CONAC should insist, each ministry, before you defend your budget, you must bring a report of how you spent the last budget. In that case, we are going to cut down corruption in Cameroon. I'll
tell you that there are some people that are untouchable in this country. If you are a member of CONAC, there are some people that if you want to investigate them,
you will go.
The next day, you will not no more be there. So I'm not seeing any possibility of CONAC solving the problem. Until that they are going to bring people from a different planet. If this present day Cameroon, I don't see. For example, before CONAC leave your own day and come to your office, you have already been informed.
Of course.
Call and tell you.
Yes.
And they even tell you to give tips. And you even prepare their tips in advance to give to them. So it is practically a very difficult situation, except we change our mentality. The other day I was looking in Ghana, where in Ghana you are given a post where what you study in school, not like in Cameroon where you from Minister of Agriculture, you go to Minister of Health, from Minister of Health you go to Minister of Education. People are just confused because you cannot be an expert in the field where you did not study. Yes, if they put you where you studied, where you master most,
you understand it.
You understand. And most of the time, these ministers might not be very corrupt, but those who are working under them, since they master the system more than them, they take advantage of them to run the ministry. So if we make such a way that you are only given a ministry where you have studied and master it well, I think things will work out well.
And you better exercise your competencies there.
It's true.
Thank you very much, Kima Vitalis, for your contributions. Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to my family, and both in Cameroon and abroad and in the village. And I want to wish my children a very Happy New Year in advance.
Manga Venatius, you equally wish special wishes to
Of course, Vanessa, permit me wish members of St. Francis and So Choir in Holy Mary's Chapel, Motocross, a Happy New Year. In fact, we believe that 2021 will be a year with a difference, Vanessa.
We are hoping that 2021 will be a year with a difference. But wishing you all watching us a Happy New Year, a happy crossover. Hoping that 2021 will come with a lot of positive energy. That said, that was it for today's edition. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned to DBS Television.